If I was starting over with AI today, I would not begin by learning AI automation. And I know that sounds backward because that is what everyone is talking about right now. End-to-end workflows, Zapier automations, mixed scenarios, AI agent doing tasks in the background. But the reason I would not start there is because I have seen people build complicated automation that technically work, but the output is not actually useful. The automation runs, the tools connect, the workflow looks impressive, but the thing it produces is generic, messy, or something nobody would actually ship or need. And usually the problem is not the tool. The problem is that they never designed the work first. They learned how to connect tools together before they understood what valuable work they were even trying to automate. So in this video, I want to show you the first skill I would learn if I started AI today, AI workflow design, and why I will learn it before automation. The problem with most AI automation content is not that automation is bad. Automation is useful. I love automation. I'm French, so I'm lazy. I don't know which one comes first. But business use automation. They are absolutely real workflow where it saves time. The problem is that beginners see tutorials that say, build this AI automation and then copy the buttons. They connect Gmail to a spreadsheet or a form to ChatGPT or webhook to a Slack message. But then when the tutorials ends, they cannot really build anything useful on their own because they did not learn a deeper skill. They learn the tool path, not the thinking. And the thinking is the part that transfers. If you understand the workflow, you can use ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and attain Zapier, or whatever comes next. If you only memorize the buttons, you are stuck as soon as the tutorials change. It's similar to knowing the path, remembering every turn to go to a restaurant, and that's where you eat every day, but one day the restaurant is closed and you will be completely lost. Instead, you should learn on how to read a map or have the tools to find different spots. Let me give you a concrete example. A beginner might say, I want to automate my sales for the web. That sounds useful, but it's still too vague. What actually has to happen? You have a call transcript, you need to pull out the customer problem, you need to identify the next step, you need to write a follow-up that sounds like you, not a generic AI email, and you probably need a human to review it before it goes out. So before I automate anything, I would design the workflow manually. For example, input, call transcript, or messy notes. Step 1, extract the customer problem, goal, or objections. Step 2, decide the next best action. Step 3, draft the follow-up in the right tone. Step 4, check the claims, dates, numbers, and promises. Step 5, get human approval. Step 6, only then decide what parts I was automating. And already, just with the workflow, I will take a step back and think, okay, now that I see this, what I would change? And don't be scared to sleep on it. That's the problem sometimes with AI, and I'm guilty of it, where I just want to go super fast, because that's what AI let us do. But then being strategic and being intentional is where the money is made. So you have to make a choice. And honestly, make the right choice, because I can already see here in the input, I could also take all the elements from my CRM. How many emails that person opened, how many times they went on the website, have they been customers with us for a long time, how many emails we received from them. So then I could make a second version of this workflow where it would pull out all the customer data, and it would know the customer way better than I could. And that's normally how you want to properly do customer support, because no one wants to be treated like a number. Everyone wants to be treated as a real human. So if someone talked to you 3 days ago and said like they went to the beach and then they rescheduled the call, you could send the email, hey, I hope your holiday was nice. Now back to business, send me the money. You know what I mean?
I want to send you my send.
That's how it is. But those steps will actually help. Same as like, what are all the learnings I heard from calls, from sales, and packing all those into your project. So having all the objections, having all those as memory, and like that become the gigabrain of the company. So now I actually understand the job. And this applies to content too. If the workflow is video ideas, the process might be source, research, idea ranking, title and thumbnail, package, script outline, claim, review, and final output. But the point is the same. Design the work first, then automate the parts that repeat. Do not try to become bland. Your taste is something that is becoming more and more valuable. Now, if you're from Germany, I love you, my German friends, but focus on the automation, maybe not the taste. I mean, you guys invented Crocs. That's the main fashion statement you put out there. That says a lot, but I'm gonna get here for that. I love you guys. Here's an example of a workflow I personally have in my company, where we host thousands of AI agents for people that actually want to get things done with it. For example, if you wanted a Hermes agent, you can go on flyhermes.ai and you will get a Hermes agent ready in less than 60 seconds with all the AI, smart routing. So it's actually cheaper than if you were buying a VPS, an AI subscription, and spending hours, if not days, to configure it. Here you will have it ready to go with more than 2,000 connectors. Now, obviously, nothing is perfect except myself. That's obviously a joke. The customer support, we can still have tickets. So it can be people who they register with the wrong email, or they have a question about a product, or they didn't read the doc, and they email us for that. Now, when we receive an email, we could hire someone from customer support, but in a cheap country, but I care too much about my customers. So what happens is that as soon as we receive an email, the AI will check all our docs, it will check all the customer information and all the payments, okay? And then with that, it's going to be able to answer for technical questions, because who wrote the doc is me with AI, so I know that the doc is good and it has deeper knowledge. Second thing is AI is way better than me as retrieving the information of the customers in our database, Stripe and everything. And then third is going to draft it in a better way, respecting the voice, the tone of the company. And we will send it to the customer. If there was a refund or something like that, same, it can trigger an alert, make the human validate, and do it. So how do we validate it? Actually, it's simple. I have a group chat with my co-founder and we both receive the request in it. So when the AI cannot answer, because I will hate AI to answer like just fluff, that's the worst to send to a customer, fluff. It just asks us in Telegram, like, hey, what is it? And me, instead of going before opening the email with all the customer support, finding the right tickets, finding the elements, all that, which would be steps that are annoying, I just reply to a text like it was to a friend. And then this gets sent in a nice way to the customer and goes into our knowledge base. So like that, it's keep learning and improving by itself in a simple way without any extra tools. Funny enough, we use Hermes agent. Like on Fly Hermes, that's how we do it. And that saves probably bare minimum $500 a month, but because we get better customer support, so our people stay longer, and also it will make more money because of that reason, it's honestly thousands. And this is one of the simplest, easiest workflow. And same, if we have someone with bad intention that do a Stripe dispute, well, good luck to do that when they dispute their payment, because what we pull out is all their usage automatically. We pull out every time they connected automatically with the IP where they connected from, so their bank will see that they're actually a piece of shit. And we win the Stripe dispute, which is, by the way, costs a lot to small companies. It's between $30 to $44 on top of how much they will get back if they manage to win the dispute. And that's real automation, real workflows for real life problems, real businesses that really makes money. And that's the difference. I don't have a big fancy NA10 with 50,000 nodes to present you or a swarm of AI agents. No, most of the time, those are BS, honestly. I know, I've been automating stuff for the past 10 years. I was really on Zapier. And the more you simplify, the better you have. And the cool thing is that this is model agnostic. It means that I don't care if tomorrow ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini is better, my agent will switch model and I can switch. And if tomorrow I want to upgrade it to make it, I don't know, with an N18 workflow, which would be possible, I can ask the agent to build it and that will work. So it's the same system all the time. I will rebuild it in any platform in 5-10 minutes because I have the logic. And that's why if I were learning from zero, I would not try to master every AI tool at once. I would learn the progression that makes every tool more useful. And for that, real case studies, not something that you imagine in your head that you think would be useful, real company problems, that's the only thing that will work, or your own problem. So first, pick the right problem. Learn how to pick tasks that are actually worth using AI for. Good AI workflow usually involves messy information, repeated decision, writing research, summarization, coding, planning, or review. Bad AI workflows are tasks where I cannot even explain what a good output should look like. I still remember that guy that told me, I had 60 AI agents building mobile apps. Yeah, he realized nothing. He made $0. What he made is a fool of himself because I was like, you don't need 60 people. Like, why would you need 60 AI agents? And your AI agents can work like 10 people. So I still can't understand, but hey, people like to waste credits. So if I cannot describe what good looks like, AI is probably going to give me something generic. 2, missing the context. Then I would learn prompting, but not as clever one-liners. I would learn how to give the AI the context a smart assistant would need. Example, constraints, audience, tone, source material, and the exact output format. Most people do not have a prompt problem, they have a context problem. Context is so undervalued that you should put it as your home screen. Context is number one. I actually think that you could make like super bad prompt. If you have good context, it's going to work. Because when I have amazing context, I just do prompts that are like 3 words and it works. 3, break the work into stages. For content workflow, research is stage 1. Ranking is another stage. Drafting is another stage. Review is another stage. Final packaging is another stage. And when you separate the stages, the output gets better because you're not asking AI to magically do everything in one pass. I mean, you ever looked at the cooking book, right? They'd say, okay, get the ingredients, and then they give you each steps of what's going to happen, and then you have the clear output. But you also have the output usually, which is the picture. And for each stage, sometimes you have a picture of the output. That's what makes it so easy. So I don't know why I still don't cook at home, but that's a good example. So 4, you build a review loop. Then I will build the habit to checking the work before I trust it. AI can be useful and still be wrong. If you want to do the best cooking in the world, like I trained to do some macarons. Yeah, that's really French hobby. And it took me probably 10 to get a good result. And then 15, and after like that, they were like amazing. And that's why it's the same with AI. I would ask what claims need verification, what source supports this, what sounds too generic, what should a human approve before it ships. This is what makes AI actually usable in real work. 5, turn it into a real artifact. Finally, I will make the workflow produce something real, not just a chat response. A brief, a spreadsheet, a script, a checklist, a report, a content package, a piece of code, a dog someone else can use. This is when AI starts becoming a leverage. The progression is simple. Pick the problem, add context, break it into stages, review the output, and ship an artifact. And that's why automations comes later, because once you can do all that manually, then automations become much easier. Because now you know which steps are repeated, you know which inputs are consistent, you know which output in the template, you know which part requires a human approval, and you know which part should not be automated at all. This is the part most beginners skip. They try to automate the entire process before they understand the process. This is how you end up with complicated workflows that look impressive but do not actually create any values. And I've been at that school way too many times where I think, okay, I'm just gonna prompt that and get the thing. No, you get the wrong thing. It's not for no reason that, for example, McDonald's is a huge company because they have process in place. And their goal is to be able to give to any humans even a low two-digits number where they will follow this process and have a good output. So that's the same. Like if you have that and then you transpose it on any kind of AI model, you will have it. And that's called making process. So if I were starting with AI today, this would be my learning path. First, pick one real workflow in your life or business. Do not pick something massive. Pick something small, like my ego. Maybe researching video ideas, summarizing sales calls, turning meetings into notes, ranking leads, drafting clients updates. Second, do it manually with AI. Use ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whatever you like. You want to be tool agnostic, and then you're going to see which one gives you kind of better output. And that can be different tomorrow. But then now you will have a repeatable checklist, and then first you can improve the prompt and the output. Do it with AI. Not ask AI to do it only, but try to go back and forth on how you could improve it. And then fifth, add automations only where it's obvious. That is the order I would follow. Workflow first, automation second. So the title of this video is not really never learn automation. Automation is useful, but if you're starting today, I think the first skill to learn is AI workflow design. Because once you understand how to turn a messy task into a repeatable AI-assisted process, every tool becomes easier to use. And when you do eventually learn automation, you will actually know what is worth automating. If you want, in the next video, I can show a simpler beginner AI workflow from scratch, from input to prompt to review to final output. But for now, do not start by asking, what can I automate? Start by asking, what workflow I am trying to make better. That is the skill I would learn first. And in that video, I'm going to show you how AI agents can actually help you with that.